America in 1934, still struggling to recover from the Great Depression. But in the midst of these drab and difficult times, a new technological marvel inspired the nation. This was the Burlington Zephyr. For America's railroads, it would mean a new era of elegance, style, and breathtaking speed.
When I first saw the Zephyr, it was just a blur out in the country. And as it got closer to us, I could see it was nothing but a silver train.
The diesel-powered Zephyr was fast and cheap to run. It represented the railroad's hope for the future. For years, America's railroads had been steadily losing passengers to the comfort and economy of automobiles. Trains had to be built that would be faster, more comfortable. So the railroad companies used new designs and materials to engineer a whole new type of train, the streamliner. It was a risky gamble to bring the missing millions back to the railroads. The Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad, everyone called it the CB&Q, built one of the first streamliners.
Burlington Zephyr.
The Burlington Zephyr.
The Zephyr, train of the future. A glistening silver bullet makes a speed of 107 miles an hour on its trial run. Zephyr, Cyclone is more like it.
Though named after the gentle god of the west wind, the Zephyr took the rails by storm. Its gleaming, futuristic body concealed luxuries like air conditioning and radio and important engineering improvements. An efficient diesel-electric power plant, a low-slung, streamlined shape, and a lightweight frame made of a miracle metal, stainless steel. Inside and out, the CB&Q had created a train like no other. To show off the train and drum up interest, the CB&Q sent the Zephyr on a national tour to meet America. Adults and children alike were enthralled by the new train.
And they let us out of school to go down and see it, and it stopped at the depot down there, and they let people go through it for about, I think it was there for about 45 minutes. Nobody had ever seen anything like that before, because it was a streamlined train and real fancy, and I thought, boy, is this what passenger train service is coming to?
During the Zephyr's tour, Rufus Doss, head of Chicago's World's Fair and first president of this museum, and Ralph Budd, president of the CB&Q, made a friendly and historic wager. Could the Zephyr break the world record for the fastest and longest non-stop railroad journey ever? Dawn, May 26, 1934. The Burlington Zephyr left Denver's Union Station at 5:05 a.m. local time, headed 1,015 miles east to Chicago on its record-breaking attempt. The Zephyr flew across the plains at speeds that reached an unheard-of 112 miles per hour.
We never saw that kind of high speed before. The crowd was just oohed and awed, and as it went by, as the train went by, I heard somebody in the crowd remark, "It looks like a silver streak."
To guarantee nothing stopped the Zephyr on its journey and to prevent accidents, railroad employees and Boy Scout volunteers were posted as guards along the route.
Everybody in the Boy Scout troop knew that I was a railroad nut. So they says, "Okay, little Russell, we'll take you out there then." So I put on my Boy Scout hat, and they took me out there and they dumped me off at one of them farmers' crossings there, you know. When we got out there, there were hundreds of people out there. There you stood with a flag in your hand, and you didn't know what time it was going to get there or anything else. And just all of a sudden, somebody says, "Here he comes," and everybody just kind of looked up, and all of a sudden there he was, and then and he was gone.
From dawn to dusk, the Zephyr rocketed towards Chicago, arriving in the Windy City at 7:10 p.m. local time.
A new era in railroad transportation. The Zephyr's epical 1,000-mile run, the fastest train dash ever made.
The Zephyr had traveled from Denver to Chicago in 13 hours and 5 minutes, cutting the normal running time between the two cities almost in half. After crossing the finish line, the Burlington Zephyr slowly proceeded to Chicago's Century of Progress World's Fair. People came from all over the world to see the train which had proved that American industry and innovation could overcome the Great Depression. Chicago's Jack Ford, the engineer who piloted the Zephyr on its record-breaking run, became a national hero.
On the day of the record-breaking run, when Dad got home that night from Chicago from the opening of the World's Fair, he said, "This was the most exciting day of my life." Everyone in America was excited because it was opening a new era of transportation, being the first diesel streamlined train in America.
Streamlining became a national craze. Cars, kitchen and other household appliances, and even fashion took on the sleek lines of the Zephyr and other trains of its kind. Passenger traffic surged on any route which featured a new streamlined train. The CB&Q's gamble on the comfort and speed of the Burlington Zephyr paid off for the whole railroad industry. Over the next few years, the CB&Q purchased 8 more Zephyr-style trains for regular service runs. As for the original Zephyr, it barnstormed the country again before heading to Hollywood to star in The Silver Streak, a film based on the record run. The train never looked better than it did for the cameras. Then on November 11, 1934, the CB&Q put the Burlington Zephyr into regular service in Nebraska, renaming it the Pioneer Zephyr 2 years later. Passenger tickets sold out months in advance. At first, the CB&Q employees had their doubts about the Pioneer Zephyr.
I was scared to death, and so was every engineer that rode it, because the train did not set any higher than an automobile above the tracks. You had just room for 2 men to sit in their seats. They had a generator in between you. And if you'd ever hit an automobile, that'd been the end of the engineer and a fireman. That's the reason we call it a death trap. But it was kind of a thrill. I enjoyed working on the Pioneer Zephyr very much.
The old railroad men thought that the Zephyrs would never make it. The steam engines, they always said they're alive. They steam and they breathe, and you put coal in the fire. And those diesel engines, they'll never go. Well, of course, we know that. We know now that was ridiculous.
For nearly 30 years, the Zephyr fleet ran regular service for the CB&Q and inspired the changeover from steam to diesel on America's railroads. During that time, they carried millions of passengers over millions of miles of track with comfort, reliability, speed, and grace. But by the late 1950s, the fortunes of the railroads had changed again. Tax dollars went to highway and airport development, and the railroads began to lose valuable contracts and passengers. In 1960, the Pioneer Zephyr set out for the last time. Once again, it was heading for Chicago, but this time the Zephyr's destination was the Museum of Science and Industry, where the record-breaking train would remain outside on display for the next 34 years. October 1997, and the Burlington Pioneer Zephyr is hauled out into the sunlight, gleaming like new after a 3-year restoration, and ready to return to the Museum of Science and Industry. Three decades of Chicago's sun, wind, rain, and snow had taken a heavy toll on the Zephyr. But Milwaukee's Northern Railcar, experts at just this kind of specialized work, inspected the damage, looked over the original plans, and then month by month, piece by piece, meticulously brought the Zephyr back to its original condition. The passenger compartment comfortable and trim again. The observation car restored to its former elegance. And the exterior sleek and shining. Now it's back to Chicago by road, not rail. And a permanent home in a climate-controlled gallery inside the Museum of Science and Industry's new underground garage.
All right, Gary, let's go. Let's do it.
Huge cranes gently lowered the 50-ton locomotive into the shell of the new building. It's the beginning of a new era for the Zephyr. As the glittering centerpiece of an exhibit which will transport visitors back to the moment when the record run first fired the nation's imagination. 63 years after that historic day, the Silver Streak has at last come home.